Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We carry on with our discussion, switching gears right now, taking a look at other matters in regards to the state of the nation this morning. Bwana Okango, let me start with you on this one. An interesting post yesterday by the party leader, Kanu. I have today bumped into my good friend and patriot, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, on the way to Samburu for Honorable Naisula Lesuda's re-election campaign launch. And this caption actually just got a lot of people talking about the fact that is Kanu really in Oka, or is Kanu secretly waiting to jump ship into Azimio? Let me give you a chance as the Political Affairs Secretary.
Oiga,
shed light on this.
We have said more than once. We know our partners, we know our friends, we know who we should coalesce with, we know who we should do business with and who we should not in politics. Senator Gideon Moi has said it more than once, that the most important thing that we want as a party in this election is the unity for the people. And that unity cannot be shopped. That unity must be initiated. Senator Gideon Moi and his principals who sit at the pinnacle have initiated unity talks, and those talks have been going on. They are structured, open, and honest. That's what we are saying. And we are glad that those talks are bearing fruit. So Senator Gideon Moi yesterday, when he went to Samburu during the re-election campaign of one of our members of parliament, Honorable Lesuda, he repeated exactly that. And he said, as Kanu, we are confident that the big house that everyone is looking at, we are members of that house. And in that house is the house that is going to produce the President of Kenya. Remember, Senator Gideon Moi was endorsed by the Kanu National Delegates Conference to go and make friends and run for the top seat, like any other, party leaders and party officials. And therefore, to that extent, the mandate we gave him, he has executed it so well, and today we are happy that we are progressing as we have anticipated. So there's nothing to worry about. And I saw yesterday at night, when we did posts in our social media pages that we are back to business, and people were wondering, our detractors got confused. I even saw, a propaganda running around that Senator Gideon Moi is now ditching Oka and going to Azimio. I would want to ask our detractors and our competitors to hold their horses and watch this space, because we know where we are coming from, and the most important thing, we know where we are going. This morning, now that we are talking about issues that are affecting women in politics, we shall be launching our manifesto, the party manifesto, Kanu 2022-27 manifesto, that is giving special interest groups a protection and promotion. That includes women that we're talking about here. Because as a party, we do recognize that women are suitable and capable. And when you're going to this election, we encourage more women to run on Kanu ticket as a party. We encourage more young people to run on Kanu ticket as a party, because that is the future. And Senator Gideon Moi has told us all the time that we have got the time and the energy. And this time we're also telling people that we have got the tools. And one of the tools that we're going to use in this campaign for our members of parliament, and I'm glad that we are sharing a podium here with one of our members, Honorable Gladwell, is the tool of the manifesto with a message to the people of Kenya. That message includes equity and inclusivity. That message includes the strengthening of devolution. That message includes fight against theft of public money, what is called corruption. And therefore, we are glad that in that big house that people have been talking about, we shall be members, because that is a promise that we have made to the people of Kenya, that we shall not be left out.
And while all this is happening, Honorable Pasaris, and feel free to respond to what he said, something very interesting is happening in Parliament that will affect the next government, Treasury, seeking to bypass MPs in proposed law. What is behind this, behind the headlines?
You know, as a country, I think we always talk about the debt ceiling, and we had a debt ceiling of 9B. Parliament is not so far from Treasury, and Parliament can be recalled at any time. So I honestly would hope that we move together okay, all arms of government in making these decisions. Because if they do this, then we might end up with court cases and it deters the whole thing. It is better for Parliament to get the blessing, Treasury to get the blessing of Parliament when it wants to have the debt. They are talking about having a leeway in case of emergencies, like the pandemic, for instance, or any other eventuality that might come in, drought, etc., where they will need money, where they've not budgeted, they had not budgeted for. Like if you look at now the Ukraine war, so I feel that we should find some middle ground where we all respect each other's territory, and Parliament has always been instrumental in making sure that we approve the ceiling. And I know that the government right now is in dire need of money. They're almost 845 billion short, I think, of what they require. So if we understand that this money, we're in this political dispensation where things can be made hard, but I believe that if they put a good case to Parliament that they need this money, Parliament will not stand against it, because at the end of the day, the country has to progress. When I think of the debt, sometimes I think we do have a problem with corruption. We have lost a lot of money through corruption. We could have probably utilized less if we had actually dealt with corruption. And as we try to do that, we can't let the country collapse. We have to make sure that we have the resources. I love the fact that the president has used PPP as a very, very big area of infrastructure development, so that we can actually stop these big, huge pending bills, which have been another way to siphon money out of government. But if you look at the infrastructure that Kenya has, we take off all the PR around trying to undermine government's projects, right? We know that the stability of this country is very important, and we can't reach a situation where we don't have money to run the country. We always have to have money to run the country. And I think that confidence is what is pulling investors like Moderna to come in and say, we're going to put this huge investment in your country. So we have to manage our debt, manage our repayment, but also manage our development agenda. And I believe that if we put everything on the table, Parliament will see the reasonableness of what the Treasury is looking for.
As a lawmaker, do you have sufficient understanding of how government has previously spent money that it has borrowed, for you to confidently say that you are sure that should these proposed borrowing changes come into place, that every shilling will go to where it's supposed to? Because I've had lawmakers here who say, on the contrary, many times they have been whipped into position against their own wishes.
You see, it's not a question of... sometimes, we have committees and oversight in Parliament. We have structures, all right? But sometimes things happen that, you can't avoid, all right? You're whipped because government needs this money. I mean, the MPs themselves, if they don't agree to push something, they will not get the money that they need to build the schools, to build the police stations. We will not get the money for the affirmative action. So government has to run. As long as, and I don't believe that there's any area of government where expenses cannot be explained. We come in, we explain. What we need is the EACC to be given enough funds, right, and the DPP's office enough funds so that we can actually decisively deal with corruption. The same way, you will see a change in the border if we continue with that momentum that we've set right now, saying enough is enough. All right? I heard the transport minister saying yesterday, enough is enough. I have a 26-year-old daughter. I mean, I'm feeling unsafe also for her, So at the end of the day, if we have the various structures of government, and this is why I like the fact that Raila Odinga talks about administrative structures being strengthened as one of his 10-point agendas. If we strengthen all our structures, we will be able to curb corruption. We will be able to bring accountability. And we can see the courts have been going for the corrupt elements and making arrests and recovering debt. And if that debt is plowed back into the government, I think sometimes it's, this is our government, right? It's like a child, bad or good, it's your child. So you don't give up on your child. And I don't think we can reach a point where we say we're going to deny government money when government needs the money to achieve its agendas. You can't say we're not going to give you money because you had this corruption deal to buy any more fertilizers. You can't say that. You have to deal with the corruption that happened in the fertilizers. And at the same time...
I disagree with you on that.
What?
That people should be called to account before government asks for more money.
But the thing is, you can call them to account, but you have the rains coming, right? Are you going to say we're not going to give more money to fertilizers because the last money we gave you for fertilizers was misused? So the people are out of office, the cases are going on, but you can't stop government programs. Government programs have to go on. There's corruption in KEMSA. Are you going to say we're not going to give money to buy medicines, and then the hospitals have no medicines? So it's a balance. What we need to do is strengthen the administrative arm of EACC, the DPP's office, give them money so that they can be able to make those arrests. Once people see, and also the loopholes, tighten the loopholes. We can see KRA is doing that as well in the loopholes to make sure that they get revenue. So though I'm against closing of Keroshe, you know, what happened with Keroshe, because I feel that it denies them revenue anyway. Move in there and see how can you keep this entity going so that you can repair your debt. And as it is, there was still the element of whether it was fair for you to levy this much tax. You know, I think sometimes we have to also promote local industries, you know. So at the end of the day, it's a balance. You have to have a balance for the greater good of the country. You can't have this chest-thumping way of saying, we're not going to do this because we're Parliament, or Treasury, we're going to do this because we're Treasury and we can. We have to come together. The three stools of government have to hold.
Honourable Gladwell, coming in off the back of that, I just saw a headline on the page 9 of the Standard. Gideon hints at KANU joining Azimio soon. What's happening on the political front?
What's your question?
that is my question. Is there any truth to this statement? Would you know? Do you have any?
No, I think unless we ask him, I can't know.
You can't comment on the same?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. We find ourselves in an interesting political space as different political factions are being formed. Where do you see all these eventually ending up? Your political reading as a leader this morning, where are we going to finally end up? Is it going to be two big coalitions? Could it be more? What sense are you getting as you...
My feeling is there'll be only two political coalition movements in this country. That's my feeling. When is what I don't know, but that's my feeling. I don't think it will be a three-horse race. I tend to think it will be two. Who will join where is something I don't know for now, but that's my feeling.
Okay. And on a more personal note, as we get closer and closer to elections, I don't know why this happens every time.